Everybody, and welcome back to another GripBeats video. Today we're going to show you the second half of, or the second part of the previous video where we were flashing two different patches onto these respective blue and purple GripBeats devices. One was the GripBeats desktop app and one was Charlie, if I remember the order. We're going to find out pretty soon though. So in this video we're going to demonstrate those two patches using the GripBeats desktop app and Ableton Live. If you're not familiar with those softwares, check out our first or second setup tutorial, which explains what those are. So, without further ado, let's get started. So what you want to do first is have your two GripBeats devices, make sure they're fully charged, or at least charged for a few minutes. A few minutes charge on a GripBeats device gives you at least an hour, and then of course fully charged gives you a few hours. And that's after charging it after say about 10 to 15 minutes max. So we want to turn on one device at a time. You'll hear a slight vibration, that means it's turned on. You then want to go to audio MIDI setup. We demonstrated this in the first tutorial, how to connect or how to connect your GripBeats device, how to use the GripBeats desktop app or connect it to your Mac, and this will open this page. I'll quickly show you from the beginning. When you open audio MIDI setup by searching up here audio MIDI setup, it will come up with this page. You then go to Window, Show MIDI Studio. You then go to the Bluetooth button here, and your first device which you turned on should appear. You click Connect. Wait for that to show the disconnect button, that means it's connected. Now, assuming this is the one that we flashed the GripBeats desktop patch to, this is the one we're going to use with the GripBeats desktop app. So I've opened the GripBeats desktop app. Like I said in the original tutorial for the GripBeats desktop app, you don't have to choose a specific color, but personally I like to choose the color of the GripBeats device I'm using. So this one is blue. It's the first device I've connected. I'm just going to connect blue. They're all the same interface, they're just different colored interfaces. So here I want to refresh the inputs by clicking this little I button, select input, go down to Bluetooth. So now this is connected. Let's expand. So what's supposed to be happening here is I'm supposed to be getting the data, and it's kind of glitching in terms of the connectivity here. So I'm wondering if this is actually Charlie. So the way to find that out, and this is good for everyone's sake of practice, is turn on your second device, go back to the audio MIDI setup page, wait until the second device shows. We're looking for it now. Click Connect, there you go. Now if you go and refresh on the GripBeats desktop app again, go to GripBeats 2, now we see data on the expanded view here, where when you rotate, we get response on the pitch, roll, yaw. So it indeed appears that the purple is the GripBeats desktop app. So we'll get to the blue one later, which will have to be undoubtedly the other one, which is Charlie. So now that we've connected the GripBeats with the GripBeats desktop app patch downloaded onto it, flashed onto it, to the GripBeats desktop app on the computer, sorry it's such a mouthful, we can now select the output. So we'll make a separate video on this, but the output should be one of these ISC drivers. This essentially is a channel that translates, just an intermediary channel, which allows you to use GripBeats with Ableton. So we choose the ISC driver bus, we go to Ableton. Now, if you've not got a channel already, make sure you've got a MIDI channel by right-clicking, insert MIDI track, not channel. You can also do that by doing Command-Shift-T. We are on a Mac, by the way, so bear that in mind, I'll specify that. And instead of having MIDI from all-ins, make sure you have the MIDI from specifically the ISC driver bus. This is in the case that you want to use the GripBeats desktop app flash device on an individual track. Truthfully, I'm going to be using Charlie to create the melody, and the Charlie being the name of the patch here, and the GripBeats desktop app patch to affect the various EQ. So that's what I'm actually intending to do today. So with that said, I don't actually have to specify the output for a channel, except for, well, I'll show you this in a minute. I'm going to use this track specifically here to receive data from this device specifically. So remember, this was the first device we connected to the Mac. So it was called GripBeats Bluetooth. GripBeats Bluetooth, yeah. The second one, the purple one, is GripBeats 2. So we're going to choose GripBeats Bluetooth because that's specifically this output to there, the Ableton. We'll get to the GripBeats desktop app flashed, GripBeats desktop app flashed patch device in a minute. But now that we've got the blue one, we'll go to choose an instrument now. I usually choose ethereal bells. It's because it's got this kind of, well, it's very ethereal. So let's see. This Charlie patch allows you to play, should allow you to play chords at 90-degree angles. So if I do that, if I put it on, you want to put the device on. If you've not seen already, this is technically our official way of wearing the device, but honestly, you can wear GripBeats however you like. So if you want to wear it like us, you can. The device will still work in whichever position you set it up in. You just have to calibrate it after you set it up, and I'll show you how you do that. So right now, I'm going to put it on like this. I put it on like the Iron Man suit, where the light is facing away from you, and you put it on like the opposite side of the wrist a watch would normally go on. Then you put your hands together like this, your fingers together, and pass it through between the thumb and the index, round past the knuckles. And you see this little sliding thing? This is our little socket. That's what the end, as you come across the front callus section of the hand, come round again, you connect to that. So that's essentially one way of wearing GripBeats. Now you may put this on the top here, you may put it that way, you may even wrap this strap around like a watch, doesn't matter, you know. The device will work in a number of different ways, so don't feel that you're strictly obliged to have to wear it in a certain way. It's whatever you want. I'm going to wear it like this, just because I believe we can use the pressure sensors in the patch for Charlie, which when squeezed allow you to mute the sound. Before we go ahead and try to demonstrate that though, we need to calibrate. So after you set up the GripBeats device, click and hold the power button, so that little button here, for 2 pulses, not 2 seconds, 2 pulses. You'll feel 2 pulses. Release, hold your hand out straight. You'll hear a dun-dun, like a heartbeat. That indicates that the calibration has been completed. So for all the tech-savvy people or non-tech-savvy people, all that means is now that we've calibrated it, your resting position, which we also call origin position, is now in this position. So everything you do in terms of 90-degree angles is calibrated from this position. So remember your position. So we've got ethereal here. I'm going to master it. I'm going to arm the track so we can now hear the input, hear the sound. Now, if you feel that you're not getting the 90-degree angles, you may need to calibrate it again. So let's calibrate it again. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. That's 90 degrees. We call this the handshake on the left hand. It's on my left hand. Sometimes it can be a bit of a learning curve or process in finding the other 90-degree angles. You can see how, even though I know that's 90 and that's 90, the actual responses are coming from slightly past the 90-degree. You see the threshold there. So same here. That was slightly before, that's slightly after. So it seems as if that's my origin. which I don't really want. I want my origin down here. So I'm gonna try to counter that. Calibrate again, boom, boom, wait a couple seconds. Boom, boom. So now we should get a more, what do you call it, in relation to my position, a more accurate 90-degree response. It seems like it's still a little bit premature there. So maybe I need to calibrate up here. Let's try that. Because the idea is if it's registering my origin slightly higher, or maybe I should start it lower, sorry. A little bit of maths, okay. Let's try that again down here. Calibrate slightly lower. Give it a second. This is what I mean by the learning process. Once you get it, you have full control of the music you're making. So we call this position origin right, because instead of doing your origin here, we're now facing it to the right. Okay, so these are just ways in which we're labeling these positions. Origin right, sorry, handshake right is like this, although we're triggering two chords. So clearly there's a one in the middle, you can't really see, it's like that, and the other one is like this. Now I know some of you might be wondering, this is a bit strict in terms of the position you have to have. This is just one concept. We have other concepts, other patches which allow users to express music more fluidly so that it doesn't feel like it's such a rigid change and it's more modulated. In fact, that's the reason why we've got the GripBeats desktop app today, patch on this device, because I want to show you how I can change the EQ while playing the sound of the Charlie patch to much more smoothly transitioning between the two. I still feel like the chords are too close to each other, so I'm going to calibrate again, hold out in front. I think I preferred what we had before. 2 pulses, wait a second. Boom, boom. Okay, here we go. For the specific chords that are being played as well, we'll put a list on the blog for Charlie. Check that out. So there you go, this is much more responsive. Minor, well it was, you just have to remember that. There's thresholds. And sometimes you don't need so many chords in order to create anything. For example, these 3 are really quite sufficient for making an impression. You see, like that. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn that off, unarm that track. I'm going to go back to the GripBeats desktop app here. And I'm trying to make sure this is correct. So remember, we've got, so we still have this device, Charlie, outputting data. So when we start to MIDI map, which I want to show you today, how to map this to various EQ controls, it's going to receive data from both. So what I really should do is disconnect this device in order to then be able to use MIDI map this without having problems. So if I remember correctly, this was the first one we connected, it was at the top, so let me disconnect it. I'm just going to check if I disconnected the right one by going to GripBeats desktop app. Yes, GripBeats desktop app is still receiving data from this specifically. So now we can go ahead and use it. I'm going to put on the GripBeats desktop app, the device with the GripBeats desktop patch on it. On my other hand, I'm going to wear it like this, again, because it's my preference, up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to calibrate by holding my hand out straight. 2 pulses, release, wait for it to go. Boom. Okay. So now when I do a, this is a roll. I just want to show you this on the screen. So the roll goes up, positive, roll goes down, negative. Pitch is like this. So you see, actually, this is showing negative, this is showing positive. These can be interchanged. Yaw is this kind of movement. So yaw positive is to the left, yaw positive to the right. When I said they can be interchanged, essentially, you can change the positives and the negatives and the maximum and the minimum within the GripBeats desktop app by going specifically to, and I should probably do a separate video on this, process data. And if you like your roll max positive to be here, go to the roll column, go down to calibration, click here. That will mark that roll position as your max. If you want your roll position to be min, go here. Okay, so now you see on the roll little dialog there that we have quite an accurate range of my intended minimum and maximum. With the yaw, same thing applies. I would like to go there. That's already calibrated pretty well. Yeah, and it's pretty calibrated well there too. With the pitch, I would quite like that to be my max positive. So I'm going to click there for the top and there to be my bottom. So there you go. Now we've got the pitch control like that. So as I said already, we've already, if this helps you see, you can minimize all the tabs. We've set the input for this device, the output to the ISC driver bus. So now, if I go to Ableton and I go to Command M, right? This will allow me to map those specific controls, any specific controls, anything from the pressure sensor to the accelerometer to the 3 axes of the gyroscope to anything on any of these little components that are highlighted in blue. And I really just want to control the low pass filter, and I want to be doing that with my roll. So in order to not confuse the mapping with all this other data, I'm going to mute everything else. So you mute things by clicking on their name. So I've just muted pitch and yaw. You won't see a response from that anymore. I'm going to mute the accelerometer because I don't want any response of the acceleration. I also want to mute the pressure sensors. So essentially everything is muted except for the roll now. So in theory, if I go back to Ableton, I click low pass filter and I do this, I should be able to map just the roll. However, it seems as if I'm still outputting pressure. So let me go back to this. Here. You should be able to mute the pressure sensors, but if that's playing up for you also, another way of doing it is clicking on the low pass filter or wherever you want to map, removing the no, you need the output, and just clicking on this or laying your GripBeats device down flat. If it's glitching, it's something we need to fix. We're supposed to have muted the pressure sensors here. I'm sure there's a button to mute the output. But in this case, if it's playing up with you for whatever reason, click on the respective component you want to map, go back to the GripBeats desktop app, move the device, move the component directly so it looks like we need the 15 PB, and then do Command M to end it. So now when you actually have your device, and move it, let's see. Yeah, I've taken it off, so it's still responding. The pressure sensors. but that's not important because it's not coming out. I want to see how the movement here is affecting this. No, we need 234. I remember that. We don't need 15 pb, which I think is a pressure sensor. So the reason, it's very strange how that's glitching between the two. You need to try to get 234, so let's try to get this reliably without everything else. Let's just play with that. If we turn down the sensitivity of the pressure sensors, maybe that will help. No. See, do you see how when I click the pressure sensors it shows 15 pb, which means it's receiving pressure sensor data. Another way of trying is to try the other mode, surface mode, then mute, then unmute the roll. See if that works. No, it's not responding, so go to grip. 238. But still receiving pressure sensor data, which we don't want. A little bit frustrating. Mute these, I don't want these. It needs to be on 234. I'm gonna have to talk to the engineer about this. But you need to try to get 234. It might be different in your case. Let me put it on. Sometimes in the past where this has been the case, I have managed to get 234 by, in a way, fluking it, you can say. You should really see the GripBeats desktop app while I do this. There you go, we got it. That was not a professional way of doing it, but we managed to map it as it was fluctuating between two devices, the roll and the pressure sensors. We're going to try to correct that. If you can't get that, we'll keep trying, Command M to rotate while you do that. So now you can see the control of the roll on the right and the low pass filter on the left. So now that we've done that, we can actually reconnect our Charlie patch on the left hand and go back to here, arm it. I did not show you earlier, but with acceleration, you can change the block chords, so block chords, to arpeggiated chords. Hang on. So that allows for some variation in your music making. The only thing with this situation is we've not mapped any tempo controls, so it's going to be the same tempo throughout. That's why playing block chords might allow for more room to express yourself and create some music. So now that we've got the right hand mapped to the low pass filter, we can now actually manipulate in a way that sound of the chord. That's quite cool. You can create this kind of warping feeling. And you've got at least 5 different chords with the left hand. That's a major. Back to the minor. Others. Still up 2 majors. Minor. So we've got a chord sequence here all of a sudden. Now it's actually possible to map the, so let me unarm this so you stop hearing that device. It's possible to map your GripBeats desktop app flash device to multiple components on your DAW. So in this case, I would like to also map it to the low pass, I don't know what the full name of that. So Reso. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the GripBeats desktop app. I'm going to click on low pass Reso, and I'm going to move this. Oh, sorry. Go to Command N. All right. We're trying to get the 234 again, and remember this was a little bit temperamental before, so. So I didn't quite get it. No, didn't get it there. Sometimes it stops on 234, so let's see if we can get that. We got it. Okay, fantastic. I'm sorry it's so kind of like glitchy like that. It's not always like that. And there's probably a quick workaround or way of muting the pressure sensors, which I just haven't worked out in this video, which I'll find out for the next video. If anyone else finds it out, let us know. So now we've got the low pass Reso and the low pass filter being demonstrated. If I arm Charlie again, in a way that was somewhat lucky because I didn't have to disconnect Charlie completely, but normally I do. Low pass Reso. And as a technique which you've seen in my previous video, what I do is just as I change from one chord to the next, I bring it down, bring the EQ controls down as low as I can so that the transition is as smooth as possible. So you can see on the bottom left there, I bring it down and then my left hand moves to the next chord. And then I increase. And again, I want to change the chord.